Pusha T and Jim Jones.
The beef has escalated.
The beef has escalated. You want to tell us what's going on? Because you know about it more than I do.
Yeah. So at Pharrell's Louis Vuitton fashion show, a Clips record was playing in the background, or was playing during the show, and they were jabs that we all believe are at Jim Jones. So Jim Jones responded first with like a little video, kind of laughing, and he said, "That's not a top 50 verse." Because remember, that was the whole thing. He was saying originally on interviews, Pusha T did not deserve to be. He didn't deserve to be on a top 50 MCs list. And so that's his original response to that clip that circulated was that, nah, that's not a top 50 verse. And then we know Jim went to the studio. And he also phoned in the Joe Budden podcast to say a lot of interesting things. I won't play those things, but y'all can look it up. And let's, should we play Jim too?
Sure.
Shit, I ain't gonna lie. I ain't gonna lie, I'm kind of disappointed, nigga. But listen here, before you drop that, before you drop this shit, let me give you some inspiration, because you lacking, huh?
All right, before we even play the record, I think it's interesting he was able to get the beat.
Yes.
I'm sure they jacked it from something and looped it, but still pretty fly to respond on the same beat.
Yeah.
Gotta give him props for that. All right, let's get it.
That shit was trash, we gon' let them get a do-over. They got you gas, you must think that you the new Hover. You a 4.0, nigga, I jumped in a new Rover. Your brother still jumping in bed and you tell him move over. These two roach niggas don't know what to do in no raid. Kanye gave you whips, but that's what they do to the slaves. You trying to act bad, but we ain't doing charades. I really have bombs on the block just like I threw a grenade. What you need? I don't got no time to be concerned with no watch you got. You never been uptown, by now work up by the poppy spot. Trying to get illusions when you run up in the Aki spot. By 5,000 miles, you turn around and get a choppy chop. I spent 500,000 down in Mazda spot. I got a $500,000 car with the bras on top. And fuck the flowers, we got roses with the stars on top. I make a toast with my jewels like a mazel tov. My name is my name, but they ain't screaming yet. They talking about the rapper Kane, but we ain't seen it yet. We got the switches on that bitches, your whole team get wet. But let me chill, cause I don't wanna get my team upset. The only beef you know, nigga, is Arby's or the Big Mac. You don't drive through a drive-by in the car with a Big Mac. That last shit you dropped, that shit was garbage, take that shit back. Plus you got your brother rapping, what you trying to bring the clips back? Talking about your brother, what happened to that boy? It's looking like it, they been selling crack to that boy. Really though, enough of the jokes is how niggas get embarrassed. Really got some money, I catch you niggas out in Paris. I got shooters like Luca that hit you niggas out in Dallas. Y'all be dressing kinda weird, man, you really need a status. Plus, we all know what you identify with. Plus, you kinda sort of dress, nigga, you been a fly bitch. And then he said that I was really chasing a feature. Niggas a gorilla cause he got some apes in his features. All my gorillas got stones, I had these apes come and meet you. I put these billies on a jet, you pick a place there, meet you, nigga. And talk about my jewels, that was a cheap shot. And these is all VVS, these ain't the cheap rocks. I don't know if you a rapper, I said treat you like a street op. I know the top 50 list, I was a I can imagine what you're going through.
Then he just walks away.
I mean, the walk-off is important. The walk-off
is important.
The walk-off is important. The walk-off is the original mic drop. I mean,
that's true.
I love a good walk-off.
Yeah.
Especially if you really did something and then you walk off.
Yes.
Because if you didn't and you walk off, it's like,
in basketball, that's
like
still a prominent thing. Like, like if you playing defense and I shoot and just walk away,
you got to.
It's like it's like fuck you. I know I made it.
I do that when I bowl.
Do that when you bowl.
I do the walk off.
You just.
I don't even look.
You just.
I don't even look to see.
What do they say? Throw it? What do they say?
Yeah, you throw the ball, but
I don't know what they say in bowling. I don't bowl. Sorry. No, I'm not joking. I don't know.
Yeah. So.
Get a co-host, they say.
The walk off when you're bowling for me is, I swing and I just walk off. I don't even wait. I don't even listen.
Because you know it's about to be super hot fire.
Or not. I just, I feel like it's cooler if you It's cooler to lose or win, or score or not score, if you just do the walk off. That's why I like the walk off.
Got it.
It's perfect.
Well, in this case, Jim did not think it was no points.
Oh no, he thought he won, and that's why he walked off.
He think it was a strike.
And that's when the walk off.
A strike in bowling, not baseball. Not baseball, y'all.
Right. That's when the walk off is especially important. When
it's letting you know I'm that dude.
Yeah.
Or dudette. You know what I'm saying?
Or dudette.
Or whatever you identify as.
Yeah.
By the way, saying that we're not sure what Pusha T identifies as is wild. That's one of the lyrics.
That sounds like it's none of my business, so I won't.
Well, there's a couple things. I think it's interesting that he responded so quickly. Mm-hmm. I think it's interesting that there's a video that's not really a video, but that's another conversation.
But, he did a little something.
He did a little something.
He said set up the camera, and that's what they did.
And that is what they did. Wrapped in front of the store with the old school mic hanging, kind of like, it made me think about LL, Mama Said Knock You Out.
Yes! Oh my gosh, yes. That's
LL was in a ring, a boxing ring, with the hoodie on and, the towel on his neck.
Yep, I remember it.
And Jim Jones was in front of Poppy Spot, as he said. Yeah. Getting a choppy chop is kind of funny to me.
Chop was
I gotta say, regardless what you think of the record, this is truly Jim Jones in his essence.
Yeah, I mean,
he's gonna say the things that he likes to say. He's gonna emphasize the things he wants to, like when the beat cut out for a second and he said the one phrase.
Yeah.
I appreciate Jim Jones even in battle still being true to who Jim Jones is.
Yeah,
because some people when they battle they kind of try to get in a different zone.
Yeah.
And maybe we will see that as early.
Maybe, yeah.
But
yeah, he was his usual spicy.
He was Jim Jones. He was a little spicy. He was a little funny, a little silly.
Yeah.
And maybe also because I'm not from Harlem, I never heard a choppy chop. But I like the wordplay because he said Poppy Spot,
and then
Aki Spot,
yeah.
Choppy Chop. Hey, listen, I hear you.
Yeah, I see what he's doing there.
I liked it. So I like this, and I like that we got music. I said on this pod, I don't want to hear interviews. I don't want to see tweets and Instagram posts. I want music.
I didn't like the subliminals when we were getting the subliminals, so I like this.
And now we got music.
We
have a Clips record with Pharrell going nuts at the end. I don't know if you heard the full record. I did. And man, it's a banger. And my man said, all right, well, your banger hasn't even been released yet. But we all heard it.
Right.
So I'm going to snatch that beat.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say some things.
Yeah.
And I just have to say, I don't know if it was smart speaking about Pusha T's brother. Because I don't think Pusha T is going to take that too kindly.
No.
And that makes me and others, because another podcast already said this, think that this may no longer just stick to music.
Oh, wow.
And I think that's kind of what Jadakiss was trying to say. Jadakiss was asked publicly, what you think about this battle? He's like, nah, I don't really like it. You could tell he was uncomfortable and was trying to choose his words wisely. They were like, yeah, but what if it's just music though? He's like, oh yeah, hey, when it's just music,
it's fun.
That's beautiful.
You
can see his whole demeanor change when they asked him like, yeah, but just the music. He's like, oh, hey, if it's just music, then it's all good. So I feel like people know these two dudes are very willing to set it off outside of music.
Yeah, and I don't want to see that happen.
And I feel like when you mention Malice and say perhaps there was heavy drug use involved, and that's why we haven't seen Malice, then that's no nice, as the Spaniards say. That's no nice.
Listen.
And by the way, also Malice can still rap, which we hear on that Clips record. And so now it may be crew love, as Drake once said.
Well, right. I think that being that it is a Clips record, I think that that's going to feed the beast, definitely. Being that it wasn't just Pusha T on the track, I feel like this is about, and I mean on both sides, because Jim Jones basically says it in his response. That, he's like, don't let me get the crew together, the team together, or whatever he says. That this is about to turn into a Rep Your Set type of.
But that's interesting because I don't know who the fuck Jim is talking about. Because Cameron said, I don't care what y'all say. Cameron said, I know Pusha's going to say something about me. I don't care. I'm a sports commentator now. I don't rap.
Is he a sports commentator?
Yeah, he has a very popular, they say it's a show, not a podcast, but it's a very popular sports show with Mason and Cameron. And they do like a sports show. Absolute pure sports.
Mason Cameron.
Oh man, you haven't seen this?
No.
Oh yeah, you gotta look it up on Off Pod.
Okay, I'll look
But yeah, they dress snazzy.
They put on suits.
And you could tell they have themes. So there's been times when they kind of dress like in like golf attire.
Yeah.
Quote unquote. There's another clip I've seen of them like in basketball clothes.
I could totally see
but
the two of them
they
doing
be
that.
listen, those brothers are looking sharp.
That's a good idea.
Mace be having like some where he has glasses on an episode to kind of look like a quote unquote
I know
square.
exactly the look.
Like remember when he was fake Brian Gumble?
Yeah.
Kind of like that kind of thing. It is really popular.
I actually like that idea.
It's got a catchy name too.
That sounds,
like I said what I said or something like that.
Is that what that is?
Yeah, I think that's the name. I could be wrong, but I think that's what it is.
Not them taking a Nene Leakes line and.
Oh, I don't even. I don't.
That came from Nene Leakes.
No, I didn't say you're wrong.
From the real. It is what it is.
Oh, that's what it's called?
That's what it's called. Yeah, I do think
bad.
there is a podcast called I Said What I Said.
Well, they don't say it's a podcast. They say this is a sports show.
Oh, because
and they are saying like
typing.
we're the best sports announcers or sports commentators.
I started
whatever it's
typing
called.
their names into Google
And it came up
as a podcast.
Well, that's what I said. They say it's not a podcast. They say it's a show. But anyway, regardless, Cam said, I do sports now. I don't care what y'all say about me. So he said, let me chill before I get my team mad or whatever he said. And he also said, like you quoted, don't let me get the team together. My apes really do this. I don't really know who the team is today.
About?
Yeah, like, because Dipset, maybe he means Jewels. Now, I gotta be honest. Jewels is not fucking with Malice. If we talking bar for bar, Jewels is cool, but this ain't the whistle song, my nigga.
Right.
Jewels today, I heard Malice recently, and Malice sound like he ain't miss a beat.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think if it's gonna be a battle like that, I don't know if.
I saw J.R. Ryder popped up and said, "Hey, don't let them tag me in." But I don't think they're fucking with J.R. Ryder because during Versus he was there and he was not on the stage at all for the Dipset Locks battle.
That's interesting.
Yeah, he was told no, you're not being part of this. So I don't know if he would get quote unquote tagged in as he said. Mm-hmm. But let's talk about record for record. You heard both records.
Yeah.
What you think?
I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't know which one I like better.
Okay.
I haven't decided yet.
I think Jim has a better diss record. He was very clear on who he was speaking to. He was very clear on who this was aimed at. And Pusha T, if you don't know about this beef, you would hear it and just be like, he could be talking about anybody. Mm-hmm. We knew it was about Jim. We tapped in. But if someone just casually heard that song, and they'd be like, man, this is a good record. But this just sounds like bravado. This doesn't sound necessarily like JD is talking specifically about Dash. When you listen to Jim Jones' record, it's very clear, hey, I'm talking to Dash. I'm talking about your blue couch. I mentioned your sister. It's clear. Mm-hmm. And so if we're talking this record, and now I'm going to be honest in a second, but if we're talking about just the two records on which is the better diss track, I got to give this round to Jim Jones. But I have to be honest, I don't think this is all we're going to hear.
Right.
I think that we have learned from the Pusha T versus Drake beef that Pusha T likes to set niggas up.
And he's very meticulous too. Like
that's where I was heading.
I could totally see him. I could totally see him being like, "Have your summer. Have your summer," and you don't hear from him for a while, and then he comes back with something that.
Yeah.
Will blow everybody's mind.
I think this is the setup. Yeah. I think that Clips record purposely being done at this global stage of this fashion show, they knew this is going to get back to Jim. And I'm pretty sure that Push already has several things lined up and ready.
Yeah.
And he already had a head start.
Right.
And I'm not saying Jim is a slouch. But I think if we talking bar for bar, which I already said on this pod, I don't think Jim is gonna outbar Push.
Right.
I think when Push comes with his actual real diss record, not the setup quote unquote that I believe this Clips record to be, I think people will very quickly forget about this Jim Jones record. And so, if it stays music, I'm very excited. I can't wait to hear more and more records. Listen, y'all could do this for the rest of the year as far as I'm concerned. I love a good battle, especially in this digital era where they can just keep coming back and forth. I like it. Because when we were younger, you had to wait for like an album, a Clue mixtape, for somebody to go on Funk Flex, for Angie to play the record. Yeah. That's over today, baby.
You can do whatever you want to do it.
Whenever the fuck you want.
Yeah.
So I gotta be honest, if we're talking this record for record, I gotta give the points to Jim Jones for this one.
Yeah.
But I think if Jim, you think this is over, you bugging. And I don't think Jim thinks this is over. I think Jim knows
he's just getting started.
This is just getting started.
Yeah.
And so I think Jim gets this one. I hope it sticks to music, and I cannot wait for the Pusha T response.
Yeah, like I want to hear the next one. I think then I'll be able to make a real assessment of how it's looking.
Okay.
But I did enjoy Jim Jones' verse. It was entertaining.
Yeah.
The choppy chop got me too.
Yeah, he had My Name Is My Name. What happened to that boy?
Right, yes.
The clips. I mean, he was...
Yeah, the wordplay was
good.
good.
He was using the, specific verbiage that tells you who this is aimed at.
Speaking about. Yeah, he was very specific about it. He didn't try to disguise it as something else. He was very, out there with
Kanye
it.
gave you this stuff.
Yeah.
You think you're the new Hove. Like, yo, you was, this...
Right, yeah. No.
He's letting cats know. Like, you didn't hear this and think it was about Wu-Tang.
Right. No.
Yeah, you didn't hear this and think it was about Drake.
I agree. Yeah.
I like it.
I dig it too. Like you said, as long as it sticks to music, I'm down for it.
I hope so.
I'm ready to hear what comes next. And on that note,